My name is Natasha Neptune, and as the president of S.E.E.N, Social Equity Empowerment Network, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on this Labor Day. Previously, we had our official launch last week as the Cannabis Trade Association for Social Equity Applicants. We shared our vision and mission of becoming a consortium of cannabis businesses working to create a vibrant, equitable cannabis industry that serves as a positive economic engine for our communities and partners. With nearly 400 social equity applicants in our network, we would like to thank and applaud all the social equity applicants that applied for this round of dispensary licenses. We would also like to congratulate the true social equity applicants that are now in a position for the lottery. Now, last week, I asked the question, Illinois, what is social equity? What will it look like? And were there going to be two sets of standards? Today we are gathered here to provide our response to the dispensary award list. So now I ask the question, was the Illinois social equity process truly equitable? The fact that 21 business entities are in a lottery for 75 licenses brings me to ask another question. Why stop at 21? Why not the top 50? Why not 75 separate business entities? Wasn't the purpose of this bill to spread the wealth? Why these 21 applicants? This whole system of social justice and social equity is not working for us when our people have been hit with the hardest with marijuana mass incarceration. A lot of our brothers and sisters are still locked up, yet a small handful of business owners continue to profit, and at this rate will continue to profit in the cannabis industry of Illinois. So Illinois said we've earned the right. The amount of conditional dispensary licenses awarded should represent the Black and brown communities in the state. Now, just so you all know, in our network, we have veterans, engineers, educators, marketers, IT professionals, designers, carpenters, insurance agents, realtors, business entrepreneurs, business owners, and a whole lot more. Our network of applicants delivered competitive applications in this round, and we want our fair share. Now, I will turn it over to our Vice President, Felicia Royster, who will share what we would have liked to have seen for social equity applicants. Transparency with the scoring and the rubric used for the selection. The transparency of ownership and overall clarity with the scoring process. So I will now turn it over to Felicia.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Felicia Royster. I stand here as the Vice President of S.E.E.N, the Social Equity Empowerment Network. We stand here today on Labor Day as children of sharecroppers and the grandchildren of slaves. Although we can appreciate the laborers and the essential workers of the world, recognizing ownership for people of color has been minimized. The very people that have labored and built this country for years remain marginalized, overlooked, and unseen. By drafting and enacting a law that stands to legalize and decriminalize drugs and abolish the 3 war on drugs means that you recognize the severity of the everlasting effects that this model has imposed on certain demographic of people, of course. The spirit of this law is built to repair those harms and to create true equity within that demographic. The Social Equity Empowerment Network would like to congratulate the true social equity contestants moving forward in the process. We hope that your potential place in this industry is used as a platform to enact change and perpetuate equity. But today isn't about winners or losers. Today is about the process that was promoted for social equity and proclaimed to be committed to create economic engines for communities that have been directly targeted by the wars on drugs. Historically marginalized, criminalized by a plant that we call a drug, but now we sell across America, lending us only 3% of the potential economic growth opposed to the 10% of economic growth, further marginalize those disenfranchised people. That the spirit of the law called to heal. This system is flawed. We failed at the opportunity and missed the mark. Not only did the state not capitalize and maximize on the opportunities to create opportunities, the state also abated the opportunity for building a substantial and sustainable ecosystem, providing the opportunity for much more commerce than only 21 businesses can contribute. We cannot afford to sit idle, as the fate of our generations to come can be vastly different. We must be seen. Today we stand in solidarity with those that did not advance, and also in support of the true social equity applicants that did advance. However, we urge the state to provide transparency on the scoring process and clarity as to why the alleged equity was diminished to only 21 business owners opposed to the 75. There are 400 years of making up to do. Shouldn't we get to work? The facts show that of the 21 applicants, only 13 are majority owned and controlled by the people of color. How is this maximizing social equity with these numbers? If the intent was to level the playing fields, how did we get here? If we would be as good as S.E.E.N, we would like to have seen more opportunities provided to true social equity applicants, more equitable and empowering situation it would have been. To have seen more transparency in this process would provide more clarity on the intent versus the results. Mr. Governor, as a body of over 400 social equity applicants, we seek clarity and transparency. We would like to speak with Governor Pritzker, the czar, all of the influencers, as well as KPMG, immediately to discuss how those that should have been impacted can be impacted in the most just way. We encourage these conversations immediately. Nothing is perfect, but the beauty of mistakes is that we can correct them. Encourage applicants to get their scores. We encourage all applicants to get their scores. We encourage the state to consider opening the next round earlier. We encourage social equity applicants, the winners that are moving on to the next phase in the lottery process, to join S.E.E.N as a platform to provoke real change, be impactful, and be empowering. Join us so that we can fortify true equity in our state. We encourage all potential business owners, activists, enthusiasts, philanthropists to join S.E.E.N, as this trade association is truly for us and by us. Let's do the right thing. That concludes our press conference for the day. Do we have any questions?
Is there anyone here that was denied?
Yes.
Can someone come up and just kind of talk about whether you've seen your scores or why do you think you were denied?
Several other applicants have requested scores. We have yet to receive them. So we can't speak on why we were denied. We only know that we were. We do request to see the scoring rubric as soon as possible, and we are here because we request transparency in this process so that we can see how we can correct the wrongs or the inadequacies of the applications. We can be reached at hello@canadaempower.org, and our website is www.canadaempower.org.
Yeah, I mean, someone who actually applied and was denied.
You're speaking to one.
Oh, you are. You
Yes.
were, okay. And where were you hoping to open up a dispensary, or what was your plan?
I've applied in the Chicagoland area, the Northwest region, as well as in the East St. Louis area. That's it. The end of the road for me.
What do you think about when you just said that only 13 of the 21 are majority minority owned? Isn't that received to keep the focus on the applicants? Who are they owned by?
I'm not sure. I can't actually identify all of them, but I do know that it does defeat the purpose. If the intent of the law is to provide an opportunity for those that have been disenfranchised, then we've missed the mark. Any other questions? My name is Belisha Royster.
Can you spell it?
BELICIAROYSTER.
But if you can spell your first last name too.
First name is Natasha, Natascha. The last name is Neptune, like the planet Neptune.
And I just want to make a special note that our members have spent over $1 million in application fees alone, let alone consultations and sweat equity and all the other costs that comes into the process.
Just one more question. I mean, obviously people they can't, everyone who applies can't get in. So do you feel as though you're asking for transparency, but do you feel as though this was an unfair process, that people maybe were politically connected were awarded these licenses? I mean, who got the licenses?
To answer most simply, yes. Yes, we do feel that it was handled, there was no equity here. Okay, so let's just be honest. And I'm speaking for what we have been able to see that has been uncovered on some of the websites that have been researching some of the companies, that some of them were politically connected. Some of them work for even KPMG. So that's some of the information that's floating out there on the web as this starts to unfold. But with the lottery process happening so quickly and over Labor Day weekend, it doesn't really give an opportunity for true social equity applicants to really respond adequately with either injunctions or lawsuits or some form of relief to have some clarity in the process.
But not all. I mean, do you think some of the people that were awarded the licenses met all the standards and were true socially?
I'm sure there are some that are true social equity applicants, and then there are some not so much. I have to reel it back a little bit. I was disheartened when I saw in the news, I have the blues, because when the Blues Brothers are now social equity applicants, how does that happen? How does that occur? How were they disenfranchised? What opportunities did they not have? How were their communities affected by the war on drugs? So I have the blues. I have the blues. How is it that they are able to open a dispensary, yet people that are in these communities that have been dealing for generations, dealing with the war on drugs, how is it we aren't given that same opportunity? How is it that some of our brothers and sisters and relatives were in jail up until recently for selling or possessing marijuana, and now the Blues Brothers can sell freely? So what happened to those family members? So I have the blues, okay? So I can get very passionate about this, and it's very frustrating when I see dispensary after dispensary or existing dispensary owners continue to own a larger and larger share of the process, a larger share of this category. It just makes absolutely no sense. And the people that have been most disenfranchised have nothing, again. Kylie, K-I-L-E-Y, Russell, R-U-S-S-E-L-L.
And you also applied?
So I did not apply on the dispensary round, but I did apply for other applications. So we'll see what that, but I do have friends and also members of the network of our group that have applied and are very frustrated, very upset.
I mean, like I was saying before, we have Black veterans in our organization, and these are going to be, we have Black business owners. We have people from our communities that have applied. So, like I said, this is, it was just very disappointing, and just trying to understand, is this what the state was trying to achieve? And we'd like an answer for that. Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Okay.
And that concludes our press conference.